Hello everyone, my name is Yara and today we are going to be talking about my 2019 goals. These are mostly going to be bookish goals with a little personal and channel ones sprinkled in there, and by sprinkled I mean two. 2018 was interesting. The world essentially went to fire and we are all slowly burning with it. That's a little dark, but you know, everything's fine. Anyway, I'm literally so bad at intros, I never know what to say. I hope your 2018 was good, even though the world is kind of falling apart. There's something really symbolic and honestly really refreshing about starting a new year. So this is just going to be a list of things that I want to accomplish and I think are pretty feasible goals to do in 2019. So we'll start off with my brief personal goals. I really want to be able to do split. Like, not just one, all of them. That has been a goal of mine forever. I've always wanted to be flexible. I always wanted to do this full split, and I've always been so close. I think one time in my life I could do a full one is when I was my most athletic, when I was like 10. In general, I want to actually learn a lot of gymnastics and dance skills. This past year, I joined my school's club gymnastics team, and it's been so much fun, and I love being more athletic and being more flexible and being able to just do so many more things that I've always wanted to do. And I decided on the splits, right, left, and middle, just because those are the most quantifiable things that I can measure and really see the progress in. Honestly, I'm so close. I'm like an inch away from the ground in my right split, and then maybe like a little more on the left split. Nowhere near for middle split. That one needs some work. But I just know that flexibility is something that anyone can achieve, and it just feels cool, you know? Say I can do a split. Anyway, now on to my channel goals. Again, these are pretty brief, pretty simple. The first one I want to talk about is uploading more consistently and just more in general. These past few months that I've been on YouTube, I probably averaged about one video a month, which is pretty bad. Looking back, that was pretty much all I could manage given how much life happened, and obviously that's not going to change. Life is going to continue to happen in 2019. This is more me telling myself that I need to prioritize booktube more. I need to prioritize filming and editing and just coming up with content so that I'm not scrambling at the last second to be like, oh shoot, I haven't uploaded in like 2 months. At the same time, I don't want to put pressure on myself because this is supposed to be a fun activity. This is a hobby essentially, and I never want to feel pressured because I know if I feel pressured, I'm not going to put out content that I enjoy or that I'm proud of. So I settled on a goal of uploading at least once every 2 weeks, which is still not the best, but at least it's something and it's somewhere to go from, and I think I'm fairly confident I can do it. The next goal I had for my channel is to upload more dedicated book reviews and spoilery discussions. This one irks me a little bit because one of the main reasons why I started this channel was to do individual book reviews and discussions because those are the videos I love watching the most. I love hearing other people's thoughts and I love giving my own thoughts, and yet I haven't done that. I did one dedicated book review. So this is fairly simple. I just have to record more. And this kind of leads into the more reading related goals. I have a lot of goals, but they all kind of encompass around read more. I know. So creative. This is weird for me because I don't want to focus on the numbers, but at the same time, I want to read more. I don't know, I just feel like I've been reading so slow and the rate I've been finishing books is so slow, and I know I can do more. And I'm also partially motivated by the fact that I have a channel now and I need to make videos. And to make videos, I need to read books. It's a cycle that I need to start somewhere from, and I'm starting at read more. I'm also just motivated by the fact that I want to read more. I feel like there's so many books out there that I'm never gonna have a chance to read at the pace that I'm reading. And I know I have the time. I waste so much time watching YouTube for hours or watching Netflix, but I just know there are so many opportunities I have where if I just read for like 10 minutes a day, I'll finish so many books. So this is a multi-tiered goal, and the first part is, this is gonna sound so stupid, but is to read at least one book per month. In all honesty, I pretty much already do this, but when I was looking back at the books I read this year and like when I read them, there were some months where I only read school books, and there was a complete month, it was this October actually, I read nothing. And that's been a trend for the past couple of years, but there's always been like about 1 or 2 months where I just read nothing. So this is kind of a means to be more consistent, because if I'm finishing one book per month, it might inspire me to read more books per month. Does that make sense? I don't know. My next goal is to read more physical books. I found that in the last 2 years, or at least since I've downloaded Audible, that almost all of my reading has been in the form of audiobooks. And I'm not discounting audiobooks at all. I love audiobooks. I think they're amazing and they are so convenient. In all honesty, I wouldn't have read nearly as many books in the past year if I didn't have audiobooks. So audiobooks allow you to read more because you can read in situations where you can't necessarily read a physical book, such as driving or while you're walking, like on a commute. And you can do it a lot of times while you're doing kind of manual tasks like cleaning, or I like to knit or do puzzles a lot. But I found myself that I was only reading during those times. So this goal is essentially forcing me to pick times during the day to just sit down and read. Essentially, all of these goals kind of culminate to one thing about prioritizing reading. Because like I said before, I was doing things that were not necessarily productive, and just because I was kind of lazy and I didn't want to read. So hopefully if I set a goal specifically to read physical books, that will force me to put time into the day to read, even if it's just like half an hour. And this is really closely related to the next goal, so I'm just going to talk about it, and it's that I want to read before bed. This is kind of weird for me for it to be a goal because I used to read every night before I went to bed, but sometime during high school I just kind of stopped and I started using my phone before bed, which is so unhealthy. And especially this year I've noticed that it has been affecting my sleep, because when you're exposed to blue light too much before you go to bed, it messes with your melatonin levels and you don't get as deep of a sleep that you could. So again, if I am making an effort to read every night before bed, I'm at least devoting around 10 to 20 minutes, maybe more, of my day to reading, as well as helping get myself a better night's sleep, which is always good. The next goal as a part of this larger goal to read more is to read more library books. I've gotten to this habit where I will research books and then buy them and then read them, and that's the cycle that I go through to read my books. But I find that kind of limits the type of book that I'm willing to read, because since I'm purchasing with my own money, I really want to make sure that I'm going to like it. And this kind of limits my potential for discovering new books that aren't necessarily hyped or popular in the booktube community or Goodreads community. So I have a feeling that if I'm picking up more books from the library, I'll more likely pick up books that aren't the most popular. I'll probably be able to discover more underrated reads and not be afraid to not like them. And again, this also leads into the next goal, which is I want to DNF books more. This is, I guess, counterintuitive to the big goal of reading more, but I find that I spend so long on books that I probably should just DNF. But I have this thing where like, I need to finish every book that I start. And that's just a mentality that's probably holding me back. Especially if I own the books, I don't want to DNF it because I hate having books on my shelf that I haven't read. And so, if I get books from the library, I'll be more likely to just stop reading it if I don't like it, because I can just return it and pick up a new one. And this might quicken my pace with reading and finishing books and kind of honing in on the books that I will truly like. So now, moving past the whole read more thing I've been trying to do, I also really want to read books from genres I don't typically read. So this includes adult fantasy, or just adult in general, a lot more middle grade, and I really want to try reading more historical fiction. Historical fiction is one of those genres where I end up loving the books that I read in that genre, but I just don't read a lot of them. And so that's something I really want to work on. And hopefully, when I read more, I'll read more books that I don't typically read. The last after this long ass list, the last goal I have is that I want to annotate my books and just be a more active reader in general. I might make an entire video about annotating just because this has been something I've been exploring for a little bit, but I still want to find a system that works for me. I have a terrible memory when it comes to books. Like, if it's a month later, I will probably not remember anything that happened in the book. I don't really know why, but the only way that I know that I can probably address it is by annotating, because I find that when I annotate, like when I had to annotate for school, it helped me remember what I was reading, because now I had my own thought kind of interspliced with it. Especially now that I want to do more dedicated reviews, this is going to be like an essential, because I don't think there's any way for me to remember all the details that I want to talk about without actively annotating. Okay, that was a long list. In my head, I didn't have a lot of goals, but I guess speaking them out loud, that was a lot. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my goals. I would love to hear what goals you have for 2019. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on my social media, linked down below. I hope you had a great New Year's, and I hope your 2019 is fantastic. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!